The new 98.9 Real Gold Radio, the Four Seasons, Frankie Valley. Go tell it to the rain, all that wet stuff, right, Wayne Nichols?
Oh, my gosh. We've had it, haven't we?
Now, you're here talking about drying things up. What, are you selling diapers or what?
Yeah, well, basically, you know, the what happens when you get all this rain, it's all going to saturate in the soil.
Right.
And when that happens, it's going to migrate to your foundation around your bowl, and then eventually ends up in through the walls and up under the floor and,
Right.
and through the floor cracks.
So
And
you have over 40 years in the basement waterproofing industry, and Wayne has nearly written the book on how to keep a basement dry. He is the grandfather of Stay Dry, and his vast knowledge and experience has been an asset to Stay Dry and tens of thousands of homeowners. And now when you're not in the basement, Wayne enjoys being with his grandchildren, boating and hunting. Is that right?
oh, my gosh.
So
As much as I can.
we're going to call you the godfather of drying things up.
Sounds like I ought to be eating Italian food.
Yeah, right. Where's the pasta?
Yes.
He gives you a deal you cannot refuse. See, is what. But the actual name of the business is Stay Dry. And right off the bat, if you folks need this, if you have a crawl space or a basement that is damp or actually has water in it, here's the 1-800 number, 1-800-7829-379. Now, write the number down. Maybe you don't need it right now. Maybe you're going to need it later, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, but what time is of the year is the worst for this?
We're into that time right now.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, that 3.5 inches of rain we had really saturated the soil.
We got that. Yeah, we did. I
we
remember
did.
reading about it.
Yep.
Okay. So now you, of course, you're based out of Montague. That's where you live.
That's correct.
So you're here. You're the man, and but you go all over the place with this type of work, don't you?
I do. My territory basically is all of northern Michigan along the west coast of Michigan. And then I take care of all the specialty stuff throughout the rest of the state for my other guys. So my forte is foundations and soils.
Really? Okay. So if somebody calls you up saying, you know, I get this water in my basement every spring, what do? You give them an estimate, or you go over there and check everything out?
We'll go out, we'll go over and evaluate the situation, what's going on, ask a few questions about, you know, things that may have happened in the past. And we'll come up with a solution for their individual problem.
Okay. So then after the estimate, you have a crew that comes in. Where do they come from?
We're actually based out of Lansing. We're on the northern portion of Lansing, so we border 127, 69, and 96. So we've got a great territory. I mean, we can lunge out from Lansing into pretty much anywhere in Michigan.
Really? So you keep these they're contractors, right?
No, these are our own employees.
Oh, I see. Okay, but they take pride in their workmanship. And boy, you guys do this is a big job in a lot of houses, isn't it?
Oh, certainly is.
Yeah. Now you have to dig around the foundation type thing, or they all vary, perhaps?
Everything varies. I mean, we can use an exterior approach, or we can use an interior approach. Okay. Systems that we do are all virtually engineered systems. We have the only state certified system in Michigan itself.
Oh, wow.
So we carry documentation to show our customers and such. And we have substantial customer base. And typically when I go into any estimate, I'll give them that information. They can pick who they want to call, or I'll leave them 600-700 people they can contact across the state.
Okay. So that 1-800 number is 1-800-7829-379. Of course, you do have a fantastic website. I've been looking at that. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we keep it updated all the time. It's StayDryWaterproofing.com.
Right. Okay.
And actually, there's installations on there. I mean, we get involved with poured concrete walls that crack. We use a high-pressure urethane injection process, which becomes a structural repair.
Ah, so you're killing two birds with one stone, as they say, right?
Yes, so to speak.
Strengthening the wall and getting a barrier there for the moisture.
That's
to
correct.
come in. What are some of the worst areas around this side of the state? You know, we read about it all the time. There's low areas and high area, water table type thing. What are some of the worst areas?
A lot of the areas that have a lot of water is going to be your sandy soiled areas that sit low. With the lake levels rising right now, the water tables are also rising.
Oh, yeah.
And what that does, it brings a lot of water around the foundation. So essentially, we're seeing a lot of full perimeter leakage along with water up to the middle of the floor itself.
Yeah. So when you come in, do you pump the water table down, or you don't have to do that to repair it? You just come in and, you know, I'm a little confused how you do this. I've never seen it done before.
If we're dealing with an interior system, we're actually putting in a drain tile system called the HydroFlow system.
Okay.
And it's designed to go into the sand, so as the water and sand migrate, it keeps the sand out of the system itself. We direct everything into a sump pump, and then we pump that back out and get it away. We look at the downhill side of the water table. Obviously, if it's coming from uphill, we don't want to pump it back in that area. We want to get it on the downhill side.
Sure. Wow. I read quite some time ago, take like Roosevelt Park in Muskegon. Is that pretty low? I've heard that it's got a high water table, and you know about that?
I tell you, in the past, back in the 80s, Muskegon was like a mini gold mine for basement waterproofers.
Why was that? Because of the high water table?
The water table was up. We were back.
I remember that I had a boat at a marina in North Muskegon, and I remember that we had to put boards across the lawn to get to the dock. The water table was so high, and we had to raise the dock. And I think that was in the 80s when the water table was extremely high.
Exactly. And actually what we're doing, what's going on right now is the cycle we're in goes from drought to drought. And we were back in a drought in 86, and then we were back in a drought in 84. So that's about a 20-year cycle.
Yeah.
And with that 20-year cycle, you got your high points and your low points.
Right.
So as you get to your low points, your water recedes. And if you're in the sandy soil condition, it's kind of like feast or famine. You're either going to be flooded or you're not going to have any water at all.
Well, you know, we have a beautiful Lake Michigan. I mean, the beaches in Lake Michigan are some of the most beautiful freshwater beaches in the world. And we've all, you know, if you've lived in this area long enough, you know the level. Some years you have a lot of beach. Other years, you know, it really recedes. And I remember, I can't remember what year it was, but there, along the shoreline of Lake Michigan, the trees were actually falling into the water. There was so much water lapping against the sand dunes.
That's correct.
That must have been one of the worst years for foundation.
And if you remember, we had a lot of cottages that were sliding towards the lake and such.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, we were doing a lot of underpinning with those to try to keep them hillside.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was quite the problem.
And
back
they
then.
were actually moving some of the cottages back. That must have been a very expensive venture.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But, you know, if you live on Lake Michigan, you have plenty of money. Yeah, right. It's like if you have a boat, you have plenty of money. No, not necessarily. But anyway. Okay, can you stick around? We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Can you stay with us for a short time?
I can, as long as you need me.
We'll kind of collect our thoughts and come back and wrap this up. We've been talking with Wayne Nichols from Stay Dry, so stay with us.
West Michigan.
The new 98.9 Real Gold Radio. That was Herman's Hermits, just a little bit better. 9:16, and we're here wrapping up our interview here this morning with, I'm going to call him the godfather of waterproofing your basement, right? But you're known as the hero. We're talking with Wayne Nichols, the hero of basement waterproofing, right?
The kids love it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, if I had a basement with a lot of water and you come along and got rid of it, you'd be my hero.
That's right.
Okay.
I would be.
But Wayne Nichols here this morning in the studio from Stay Dry. They've been in the business for how long?
Stay Dry has actually been in business for 9 years. And I brought everything from me. I had HydroFlow for over 30 years.
Ah, I remember that now.
And then I brought everything from HydroFlow over to Stay Dry. So it's a continuation of HydroFlow. We do everything HydroFlow had done in the past, and we also service the old HydroFlow customers.
Okay. Now, how long have you lived in, you live in Montague right now. How long have you been here?
I've been here about 20 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this guy is right here. He's a local man. He's not going to go anywhere. So if you have a problem with your basement, your crawl space, foundation with moisture, it's 1-800-7829-379. Now that call goes to what, Lansing?
That's correct. It goes to Lansing. Our girls will answer the phone and set it up. You just mentioned you heard Wayne Nichols or you heard my ads.
Right, and they'll shoot you a call.
Typically, I would get it anyway in this area.
Yeah, okay. And then you contact the folks by phone. You set up an appointment to come over for an estimate. Is it a free estimate?
It's a free estimate.
Okay, all right.
One thing to probably remember, too, we also get into a lot of foundation repairs as far as cottages and stuff, putting new foundations up underneath them, or a wall bowed or buckled. We can straighten it, repair it, reinforce it. So we're full structural.
Because here in this area, of course, there's a lot of sand, but right here where we're at, there's a lot of clay. But for the most part, there's a lot of sandy soil foundations, and they start to sink after a while, I've noticed.
I think your settlement issue is more in the clay than what it is in the sand. Your clay will expand and contract. Okay. Sand would have a problem with that, maybe undermining, or if you got down into lower soils where the clay may be at, it could be at that point expanding, contracting, dropping it down in those areas also. But typically we find it more in the clay.
Wow. Now, let's talk about how this is financed. Do the insurance companies pay for some of this, or?
Unfortunately, no.
Is that right? Okay.
Right.
We might as well make that clear. Why not, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay. But, boy, there's nothing worse than having a beautiful home and you have moisture in your basement or water in your crawl space, whatever. Mildew, mold.
Exactly.
Oh, man. And you don't want to live with that. That can be very, very dangerous for anybody, young folks, old folks, whatever.
And it's all relevant to leakage or moisture.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you provide a much-needed service.
We love it.
Yeah. Well, you work for it. You know, you get paid well, but you provide a great service, and it just takes a little. How long would the average job take? I know they all differ, right?
They do. Typically 2 days.
Okay.
Would be your average install.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Wayne Nichols.
Jim, thank you so much for having me. I'd be delighted to come back sometime.
Oh, yeah, anytime. We'll give you a couple of months. You can always come back.
All sounds great.
Okay. And we want to thank you for supporting Real Gold Radio.
You're very welcome.
We hear your underwriting announcements on quite a bit. We want to thank you for that. So
you're very welcome.
So you got to listen to this guy, folks. Maybe you ought to come in and do your own commercial. I know I've been not commercial, underwriting announcement. I'm not supposed to call him. But anyway, maybe you ought to come in and do your own underwriting announcement sometime. That always kind of is nice, you know.
I would love to do that.
Sure. Okay. So we've been talking with Wayne Nichols from Stay Dry. That phone number one more time, and you can always visit their website. Just go to search, right?
Exactly.
Stay Dry, and it'll pop up. It's 1-800-782-9379. He's the godfather of basement waterproofing. Okay, thanks once again. I kind of ham it up a little bit. You know.
Oh, you're great, Jim.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.